There is a stigma known to most in the skateboarding industry that if you want to make it pro, you have to be in the city. In 2010, it was estimated there were 9.5 million active skateboarders in the US, which at the time equaled out to 2.9% of the country's population. The jungle of skate spots planted in big cities like California, New York, and even Barcelona and London attracts hundreds of thousands of skateboarders all year. In LA alone, 1 in 10 teenagers are skateboarders, but for the number of skaters there are in these big cities, I want to know what obstacles a skater from a small town encounters when on their quest to making it pro. I've come to Smart Barbers, a skate and barber shop based in Weston-super-Mare, to speak to owner Ben Smart, a former industry worker, to get a proper insight into how the skate industry actually works.
So man, you've been skating for a while, like you've been around in the scene and stuff like that for a good old while now.
I've been skating since I think 1988.
Yeah.
I think. I've worked in distribution. I've worked in skate shops. Yeah, so I worked for the UK distributor for Osiris for a few years, and their like flagship UK store.
Yeah.
But that was, like warehouse work and stuff like that. But yeah, that was around the peak of that brand, I would say.
Right.
When you have like there was quite large tours they were organising and stuff with the American pros. Skating's very fashion based, I guess. So one brand can be hot 1 minute for a couple of years and then it will be like extinct almost. So yeah, I've worked in that side of the industry.
So how, like, sort of, what would you say is the importance really of wow, I mean, when you think about, like, you've got your small towns and you've got your bigger cities, like, is it vital really that you do sort of end up in those bigger places?
If it was me, right, and I was like, I don't know, 15, 16, I'm coming up, I'm better than all my mates, I'm like in my little town, like say I'm living in Weston or just wherever, and I was like, right, I can kind of tell I'm better than my mates. I can see I'm seeing things on like, I don't know, Instagram and stuff of other people my age, and I'm a bit like, maybe same standard, bit better. What I would say, I would be thinking if I wanted to make it in skating or something, I'd be thinking, right, where's the nearest big city to us? Like in Weston, it'd be Bristol. So I'd be thinking, right, what's in Bristol? You've got somewhere like Bristol, you've got the bigger distributors. You'd be going to the famous spots. You want to get noticed doing stuff, so you want to be like going to somewhere like Lloyd's, which is a big sort of famous set of stairs. Maybe doing something that people haven't done there before, perhaps. You want to be networking, obviously, with other skaters in the scene, the better people. Skating, if you skate with the best people, you'll theoretically get better. And you want to just be getting your name out there, not like ramming yourself down people's faces, but like, going to spots, skating, getting on with people, get to know maybe the distributors. You would maybe, if you got lucky, maybe they start flowing you some boards from like a brand that they distribute. And then maybe if you did well doing that and the American, the actual manufacturer in the States maybe would start paying attention through the distributor, that maybe you could get on a direct deal. And then maybe that would lead to a trip to the States, maybe so on and so forth. Maybe you get on the actual direct company, and that's where you start networking again there, I suppose.
Well, I mean, Nike and stuff like that have come up recently, haven't they? And Adidas, like, they're sort of big, like, sort of boost in the whole like market, bringing in a lot of like money and stuff. But to get to those sort of levels, you've got to be good.
There's degrees of being sponsored. You could be sponsored by your local shop in your town and get flowed shoes from Nike from a distributor or something, but then that's a whole different ball game to being riding direct for Nike or whatever your sponsor is, So basically, I would say that if you could be the best skateboarder on earth, and if you live in a little town in the middle of nowhere, that doesn't really matter. But it matters as long as you get out of the town. You've got to be going to like everything. You've got to be seen at every event. You've got to be filming stuff. You've got to be getting photos in magazines, calling up photographers.
Yeah.
traveling, basically going to the famous spots, doing a trick that's not been done before there,
Yeah.
perhaps, and obviously not being a knob, like, you know, like as well.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you meet kids that you got to be, and they're bothering you about stuff, you've got to be like, oh, that's great, like really interesting. You know, it's not as easy as just going to your local skate park and being really good. Because
Yeah.
if no one's seeing you, no one cares, no one's going to
No.
sponsor you.
Having spoken to Ben, it became clear that on the path to making it pro, self-marketing is pivotal towards a skateboarder's success. But that takes away from the stigma of needing to be in a big city. So I wanted to speak to a local skateboarder with no sponsorships to see if the facilities available in lesser populated towns have any impact on the process.
Generally speaking, what's it like sort of skating in like a town, you know, like a small town as well? There's not much of a skate scene here.
No, there isn't. But there is spots, but not as much as, you know, big cities, and it's a very, very small town. Everybody knows each other. There's not overly a big skate scene.
Yeah.
But if you know the right people, there is like okay places to go,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, same old. There's only three okay skate parks and
Yeah.
one all right one.
Yeah.
Well, we've been campaigning for a skate park for like probably 5 years now,
Yeah.
and nothing's come of it. Been to
Yeah.
meetings, all sorts. and
Yeah.
Nothing ever comes of it. They've
Yeah.
promised us all sorts, but
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
never ever
No.
amounted to anything.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, you said you've been to like meetings and stuff where they've promised you, literally promised you, like skate parks and
we've
stuff.
had budgets put aside
Yeah.
and all sorts,
Yeah.
but nothing ever amasses.
No.
You can go to as many meetings as you want, and
Yeah.
they won't. I've been to, me personally, I think I've been to about 3 or 4 now,
Yeah.
and they've promised us land, they've promised us a budget, and
Yeah.
they use that budget to build other things like
Yeah,
play
yeah.
parks and stuff. The amount of play parks that this town's got is ridiculous. The amount of
Yeah.
skate parks this town's got is just also ridiculous because there's none.
Yeah.
There's one good one.
Yeah, I mean, like, a place like, well, most towns and places, I mean, you look over there, they've got stuff for like just footballers and stuff. They've got like grass fields for for footballers, sorry, and all that sort of thing. Like, you don't really have much here. This is the skate park,
Yes, it is.
and I mean, we've spent years here. Like, how long have you been skating for?
Like 7 years now.
Literally.
Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah.
This is where I grew up. This is the homeland.
Yeah.
But shit repairs. It's just shocking.
Yeah.
But it's the closest place. This is the thing. In towns, you go to the closest place.
Yeah.
There's no other places to go. So you pick your closest, and then all your mates come, don't they? That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
If you want to go and skate somewhere decent, you go somewhere else. But you know, everyone just goes to the local, and this is the local.
Yeah, and then you get just people like it's places like this as well. Like, they're not like the best looking places,
No.
and I think you find that at a lot of places that look like this, you get a lot of people that come around and do some funny things.
Yes, yeah, you do. Yeah, you get a lot of hoodlums, a lot of
Yeah.
drug takers,
Literally.
chavs,
Yeah.
as most people put it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you build somewhere that's good and somewhere that you put a lot of money into, that's in an okay location, even in like a maybe not necessarily good location, you will get good people going there.
Yeah.
Like, you build crap, you get crap. It's
Yeah.
simple. Like, you build a good skate park, good people come.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Especially in like the town and stuff like that, there's not many skate spots. Like, there's a few places about.
Yeah.
So you have to travel.
Oh yeah, definitely. You've got to travel in small towns, I think, for sure.
Yeah. And then,
Because in cities, the spots seem to be all close together,
yeah.
so you can kind of go from spot to spot.
Yeah.
But in small towns, they're also spaced out, that to get a good variety, you have got to travel. And
Yeah.
It's just simple as that.
Yeah.
And then that's more time that you're not skating.
Yeah.
So
man.
the progression again is less.
So are you still skating much like
Barely.
now?
No.
And is that because of the lack of facility available to you?
I've been skating the same park for like 7 years, and yeah, it does get boring.
Yeah.
Like I would like somewhere that's like a little bit better.
But even if you had like a normal concrete skate park, just
Yeah.
a good skate park where you could go to, like, whether it's like, I mean, if people skate, if they're taking it seriously, they're skating there like 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Like, even still, if it's raining and stuff, especially in England, like, you'd still try and cram in a skate when you
Oh,
can.
yeah.
But like, it's places like this that just generally just get neglected as well.
Yeah.
And then places that don't want to invest any money in something that they're not 100% sure works. I feel as though it's a big sort of, I don't know. Yeah, I think negligence is the right word. It stops skateboarders wanting to go out and skate, and I think ultimately that pushes you down a different direction. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I started skating when I was like 12, and
Yeah.
so I didn't learn to drive until I was 17. So that's 13, 14, 15. That's a lot. You know, that's a few years where I could only just skate places that I did know and that my parents knew, kind of thing. If you're in a big city with loads of skate parks, you can go there. Do you know what I mean? And it's not hard. And then when you start driving, you're working.
Yeah.
So you haven't got the time.
Yeah.
But if you had those skate parks and had those spots in the first place when you first started skating, who's to say that you wouldn't progress even more? Do you know what I mean?
Meeting with a local really gave me an impression of hopelessness amongst the skateboarders who don't have the current standard of facility to even try and develop themselves to get their names out into the industry. But with that futility, I wanted to speak to somebody who had been there before and come out the other side. I was able to arrange a video call with professional skateboarder for Wood Skateboards, Scott Whitaker, to speak about his journey and to hear once and for all if where you're from is just a matter of folklore, or whether the stigma of being from a small town does affect a skateboarder's chance of becoming professional.
Yo, hey man, how is it, alright?
Yeah, not bad, how are you?
Yeah man, not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so whereabouts did you sort of grow up skating?
So I first started in Swindon.
Yeah.
I think I'd been skating about 6 months, 7 months, something like that, and I moved to Western.
Yeah.
So then, it was pretty much just stayed in Western for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Skating with like Ben and just a little group of people in Western, really.
Yeah. When was there any point you were like, I want to sort of give it a push, or did you just let it happen?
In all honesty, I've never tried to push it.
Yeah.
Like, I've had people say, "Oh yeah, you're quite good. You should try and do this," or like any competition. And I'm like, I'm not very competitive at all.
Yeah.
So I think that's what kept me in skating. I don't really enjoy like competitive sports, you know.
Yeah. No.
So, I think with skating, because I was doing it for myself, it's kind of that's why I stuck it in.
If I remember rightly, you spent quite a bit of time out in Australia.
So I spent just a year in Australia. The weather's so much better over there, so skateboarding for me always sort of influences my decisions.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like I want to go and spend a year in a cold country where it's raining and snowy all the time. Like I'd want to go somewhere where I know I can skate. So
Yeah, man.
Australia was a good one.
What was this sort of what was the scene like in sort of Australia and New Zealand compared to like back home?
Yeah, it was a strange one. It was a bit. I wasn't expecting it. Like I went out there. I think I was 25 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was definitely in the period of like in the mindset of I'm not interested about being sponsored. I'm not interested how good someone is.
Yeah.
A lot of the people I met over there were still in that mind frame.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be sponsored, and they wanted to know how good you are and what you can do, and it's very competitive.
Obviously, I assume before you went out, you were riding for Wood at the time?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so how did that one sort of come about?
The guy who owns Wood, who I sort of, he's like a friend of a friend,
Yeah.
he approached me and asked me to ride for Wood, and originally I said no.
Alright.
I was just like, I'm not interested in being sponsored. And then the more I sort of spoke to him, realised that me and him were kind of on the same wavelength. And he was super chilled. He was just like, there's no pressure. You go out, like, you skate, you do what you want. It's just like it's like a group of mates going out skating now, so it's good.
Yeah, man, that's it. Did you skate much? Obviously, Bristol sort of is in between in those Swindon and Weston. Did you spend much time skating like Bristol, like a sort of bigger city and stuff?
Yeah. So I'd go, obviously Weston being quite small and quite a small city. We'd go to, there'd be a few of us, and we'd go to Bristol like most weekends.
Yeah. Do you think do you feel as though you were sort of like restricted a little bit when it came to like skating in Weston? Obviously, you had your people around you, like you had Ben. I assume Ben took a lot of like photos and did a lot of filming and stuff like that, which obviously helped you out. But do you feel as though Weston or sort of like a smaller town, Weston be it or Swindon, sort of restricted you in any way?
Yeah. I think nowadays, obviously, everyone's got Instagram, and it doesn't matter where you're from now, if you can just upload clips to the internet every single day.
Yeah.
So that's sort of taken where you're from out of the equation a little bit. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I think maybe it might have been different if I had the attitude of I want to go and get sponsored and I want to do this, and I'd purposely go out to the places like Bristol and London if that's what I wanted to do and look for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I was pretty happy just like rolling around Weston and then new places, and you end up sort of meeting people. So yeah, I think it depends what you're looking for, you know.
Yeah.
If you are, like I say, if you are looking to go out and get hooked up and do this, that, and the other, then you want to make yourself sort of known and visible. So you need to go to the bigger places.
Speaking with Scott has enabled me to establish that regardless of where you're from, self-promotion and marketing is key to a skateboarder's success. Living in the city will grant you access to a better scene and facilities, which will ultimately better facilitate a skateboarder on their quest. But living in a small town isn't as much of a negative as first perceived. I found that it's all about the mindset. There is an element of being in the right place at the right time, but if you demonstrate the will to get your name out there, make people aware of your ability, and have a prerequisite for personal growth and progression as a skateboarder, then it will only be a matter of time before the dream of having your name on a board will come true.